In 2007, 72% of children born to African American women were born out of wedlock. Beyond the obvious, what does this say about African American men? Professor, let me start with you. What does it say about African American men that close to 3/4 of black kids are born out of wedlock?
It says a fair amount about the fact that out of wedlock births are increasing, not only among African Americans, but whites.
But why so much? Why so much in our community?
Well, I think for a number of reasons. I think that increasingly some of the things that people think about marriage as delivering, because of the economic status of African Americans being so fragile, they're really unable to do so. So that does not prevent them from thinking about the need or the desire to have children. So they have children. And I think that from a public policy standpoint, that we do have to be concerned about that, but only to the degree that having children out of wedlock, given that in this society, which is still largely, in terms of the labor force, one where males dominate, and African-American males having such a low labor force participation, it makes them very vulnerable and not necessarily always the best partners for marriage.
I think it says more about African-American women than it does African-American men. Okay, because you talk about women choose and they make the choice to have a baby. I mean, they certainly control their own bodies. An African-American male cannot tell a woman, hey, you're going to have my baby. I'm going to make you have my baby.
But what about
so it says a lot about African-American
But what
women.
about the fact that the brothers, you know, in African society, the men controlled their families. They controlled their destiny. It was a badge of honor to have a child. What has happened from a woman's perspective in our community? It seems like the men have almost abdicated the desire and the willingness to be in control of their families. How are you seeing that from a female perspective?
From a female's perspective, again, it gets back to the choices that women make. Because if women demanded more, if they demanded better, the women who say, hey, you know what, brother, I'm getting my college education, I'm going to have me a job, and then, you know, I'm going to get with you and we can have a family. They have a family, they have a wedding ring, they have all the things they want. It is women who do not understand. They do not understand the power that they hold to build family that are having the problems.
Lacey, let me turn it around.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time in the church.
Yeah.
Mary is saying that the sisters need to deserve more. What about the brothers who are going to tell the others, yo, brother, man, you got to stand up, be a father, don't have these kids out of wedlock? Where did that value go that existed in our community?
Vic, I agree with Mary from the standpoint that it is a shared blame, that the women share some of the responsibility. But from a preacher and looking at the Bible, the man is supposed to be the man. It's supposed to start with the man. And we're not loving our women. We're not taking care of our babies.
And why not? Why not?
Because there's no shotgun weddings anymore. You don't have a father marching them off to the to the altar saying, you better marry my daughter, which used to happen. You got a girl pregnant out of wedlock, you marched on down to the altar whether you wanted to or not. And those days, it gets back to the home, it gets back to the parenting, it gets back to you deciding how you're going to live your life.
We strayed from mainstream values, and I think a lot of the media doesn't want to give the proper positive. Thank you, sir.
I get that.
Thank you.
Unspoken, the things we don't say. We'll be right back.